Welcome to the 7 Success Habits of Homeschoolers. This series is my homeschool-specific adaptation of Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. My name is Alison Moore-Smith, and I homeschooled our 6 kids for over 27 years. After a number of years presenting this in conferences, I compiled it into a book. This presentation on YouTube will be done pretty much like a conference talk. Although you aren't here live, think of it as a personal chat with a little editing and a few tangents. We'll go through the book chapter by chapter, hopefully giving you all the information you need to dive right in. If you'd prefer a more concise written form, you can grab the book on Amazon in softcover, Kindle, or you can read it for free on Kindle Unlimited. There's a link in the description. As new chapters are added, they'll also be linked in the description and added to the 7 Success Habits of Homeschoolers playlist. Now on to habit 3, organize and prioritize. I would rather organize than almost anything. I grew up in a house of order, but it's not genetic. Now, I'm adopted, so of course it's not genetic, but I didn't even pick it up over living with my parents. I don't know how they did it. The only organizational things I could see in my parents' house were these: a clipboard that had a grocery list on it, a week-at-a-glance calendar that sat on the little desk in the dining room, and there was a file in the office where they put bills to be paid. That's it. When I got married, my husband and I were both in college, and we got our little one-bedroom apartment, and within a couple of weeks, it was a disaster. The house was a disaster. The bills were not paid. Nothing was done. We had no food. And I thought, it didn't look so hard. Now, I had lived on my own in an apartment, and so had my husband, but when you're just taking care of yourself and there's minimal things going on, all I ate was brown rice and tuna fish anyway. It didn't matter. Suddenly, I felt completely out of control of my life, and I didn't know how to manage or function. And I really had to work and learn. Over the course of years, I had to set up multiple systems just to keep my life intact. Again, I know y'all don't have to do this, but I'm not like my parents in this aspect. So if you're like them, you just skip this and go to the next. But for those of you who have trouble keeping everything under control in a way that you feel comfortable, this one's for you. It's important to be organized, especially if you're homeschooling. Even though, yes, your kids are with you most of the day, every day, it's more important because you live better and you learn better in order. Chaos does not contribute to anything good. So I found over the course of years, there were 6 areas that I had to create a very specific system to manage that area. And so whenever something came up in my life that was a constant irritation or pain or struggle, I would say, I need a system for this. I need a system to contain this and to manage it. So that's what I've done. I'll tell you my 6 systems. But here's the thing. When you set a system for an area of your life that's troubling you or bothering you, this is what you need. It needs to be efficient. It needs to be thorough. It needs to be predictable. It needs to be streamlined. And it needs to be personalized to you, your family, your house, all that stuff. For the purposes of the homeschooling series, I'm not going to go into detail about how I personally do each of these systems. I am going to create some addendum videos where I spend a lot of time actually showing you what I do. But the point is, what I do specifically works for me. It may not work for you. It may not work for anyone else. But it's been personalized, like I said, to fit me and my family and my house and this time of my life. So here, I'm just going to discuss what the 6 systems are and what parts of your life they will cover. Once I do the 6 videos to cover the way I do each of these 6 systems, I will link them below. But understand, this has to fit you. And I can only tell you what fits me. The first system is an information system. This is going to be the system to control and contain and manage your papers, your bills, your mail, all of the minutiae in your life that comes in that you need to handle or manage. And at this point, it's also email and voicemail and texts and everything else that you need to manage and answer and confront. System 2, for want of a better word, is the system to organize your stuff. I should have come up with something more clever, but I didn't. This is your physical belongings, your furniture, your clothes, your kitchen utensils, your food, your hair products, your office supplies. Just the stuff. It's not information, it's the actual physical things all around you that need to be organized. The third system is one to manage home cleaning and maintenance. Now, mine is very specific because I'm not like my parents. When you're creating a cleaning and maintenance system, you want to focus on efficient methods. You want to be quick, you want to be thorough. Now, unless you just really love cleaning and you just like to hang out with the toilet bowl scrubber all day, you want it to be done quickly, but you also want it to be done thoroughly and well, and you want the house to actually be clean. So focus on the way to do that. That's what this system will entail. System 4 is my least favorite part of this. It is meal planning and preparation. Meal planning takes a huge amount of your financial and time budget. There was a time in my life when I actually liked to cook, and that was when I didn't have to cook. In high school, I loved to experiment and try things, but today, after being married for almost 40 years, if I never cook again, I would be happy. The other day, I heard a woman say, I would give birth to triplets in a cabin in winter with no heat or support by myself if I never had to plan or prepare another meal again for the rest of my life. Too many meals over too many years, just don't want to do it. So having a good meal planning and preparation system does not completely alleviate the pain of this to me, but at least it makes it manageable. It makes it less painful and less abhorrent. And yes, I could get a better attitude, but what I really want to do is to get a personal chef. That's another story. But right now, make a system so that your meal planning and preparation, including the shopping and the list and all that, and even the food storage, is organized in a way that makes it more streamlined and less painful and less difficult and less time consuming. Unless you love cooking, then take as long as you want. System 5 might be my favorite, believe it or not. It is laundry. This is very strange because there was a time when laundry was just horrific to me. If it was laundry day, don't come to my house because I will pretend I'm not home. Because laundry day meant there were clothes all over the house, piles of dirty clothes, and then piles of clean clothes on the coffee table, on the couch, on the dining table. They were everywhere. It was disaster. And if someone came to the door, I would literally hide and not, everyone, don't answer the door. Because it was embarrassing. It was terrible. But now I love doing laundry. Because it's so easy. It's almost relaxing in a strange way. I've just come up with an industrial age technology of the assembly line. In my video, I will show you what I do. I've now done it in multiple homes, and it's brilliant. I love it. My laundry room even became famous, so much so that when I would hold homeschool parties at my house with 40 to 70 homeschool kids, I would catch moms sneaking up my stairs from my basement, looking a little embarrassed. And they said, I just had to go down and see your laundry room. Now the thing is, if they'd asked me, I would have let them go or I would have taken them. But it's brilliant. And I will tell you something. If you've ever gone to a model home, or we have a parade of homes here that I love to go to sometimes, I am convinced that architects and builders have never, ever, ever done a load of laundry in their lives. And they don't know how to make an efficient laundry room. And it infuriates me. But even in one of those, you can set this up. So check the video if you're interested. But either way, come up with a system that works for you, for your space, your family, that makes it less painful and simpler. System 6 is homeschool organization. And by that, I mean homeschool work. When we first began homeschooling, and I finally got over the panic of trying to completely reproduce a public school in my house, in my kitchen, I found that my kids' interests, given the right environment, really led to a lot of good learning. So I hadn't been terribly structured about what they did. But in 1999, early 2000, I was pregnant with my 5th child. And my oldest was 13. So I'm about to have a baby, and I've got a nearly 13-year-old. And I felt like my head was just going to explode. I just got to the point where I couldn't keep track of things enough. I couldn't manage enough. I felt like things were constantly slipping through the cracks just because there was so much, so many kids at so many very different ages that it was just too much. I found this book at a homeschool conference, and I cannot remember what it was called, but it gave me the directions to make kind of a massive homeschool calendar-ish. And I remember being very pregnant, so pregnant that it was hard to lean over the dining table, but I had all these sticky notes and all this paper and all this stuff laid out to create this system. As with most everything, this method went by the wayside and I created my own, but it gave me something to hold on to at first. All these disparate things that were floating around, and bring them into one place that I can manage them. Especially if you have a lot of kids, if you have older kids, if you have a wide age range, create some kind of system so that you're actually keeping track and keeping on top of what's happening, so that those general flexible long-term goals you set at the beginning are actually making progress toward the end, whatever that looks like for you. What parts of your home or life would benefit most from a system or a complete overhaul? What works for you today and what doesn't? I'd love to hear how you manage any of the 6 systems I use. Please share your thoughts. I'll see you in the next installment. Habit 4, everybody wins.